there, thanks for tuning in. Welcome back to the Torgo Entertainment YouTube channel. Torgo here. Welcome back to another gig log, and welcome back to another wedding.
The Rangers have defeated the Greenzilla in Tokyo, and the Egg at Amber Beach is missing.
An egg is missing? Oh, this wedding may be destroyed.
Weddings in November are rare around here. This is upstate New York. It gets cold around, well, September, honestly. We have 2 weddings in November this year. This is the first of the 2, and today we celebrate the wedding of Ramil and Alexis. I say today, full disclosure, I'm filming this 2 weeks afterwards. You may have seen in the last video I took a week's vacation. I actually needed to get away. Yes, even I need to get away once in a while. This wedding took place the day before I left on my cross-country road trip. There was no way I was gonna work on this video during that time. I am back. I had 1 video to get through, and now I'm working on this one. This was a wedding wire inquiry. I know some people have had a lot of trouble with wedding wire in the past year, but this was from there, and it was actually the mother of the bride that got a hold of me for this one, because both Ramil and Alexis are military. And you know how this goes. If you're military, you're young, you wanna bunk with your significant other while on base, you get married. That's why a lot of military weddings happen young, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the mother of the bride had to get a hold of me and take care of all this stuff. And we head to a brand new venue, at least for me, the Gathering at Bailey Creek, right here in Corning. Let's go to the map and show you where that is. It's about 10 minutes away. Not bad at all. This is actually the first in-city wedding that I've had this year. I've been traveling all over a lot the past few years, but it's very rare for me to have weddings in Corning. And we have venues right in town, but a lot of them are either places I won't play anymore because they suck, or they're just smaller fairs that are honestly below my budget. But this was going to be a very large affair, an 8-hour wedding from 2 to 10, which is why the itinerary had a ton of stuff to fill that time. We had some speeches, we had the shoe game, anniversary dance, dollar dance, the whole garter and bouquet debacle. They were thinking about doing a sparkler send-off that ended up getting the kibosh a couple weeks ago. So they had a ton of time that they needed to fill. But then, the venue got a hold of this couple. Now this is a brand new venue for this year. They just opened, you know, COVID money, pumped it into the venue. Here we are, it's another barn. And they said, you know, we have never actually had a wedding go 8 hours. We're not really used to that. Can you cut it short by like an hour and a half? Which kind of puts me in a bit of a pickle because they're paying for 8 hours of DJ service. It stinks, but that all counts as overtime anyway. So I was like, well, the base package that you're going with is 6 hours, so it's not that big of a deal if you don't use that extra hour and a half. I'm gonna have to revise that when I go into 2022. My packages are getting a complete overhaul. Phil came with me on this one. This is the last wedding that Phil's doing with me this year. There's actually an event coming up tomorrow on the 20th, but I'm not doing a gig log for that one. That is one of my high school trivia qualifiers at Ithaca High School. There's no reason to film that. I mean, I just bring the camera just in case there's questions about the material, who buzzed in first, which is why I bring that, and I'll have the footage. Maybe I'll pepper it in some video if something is particularly pertinent. Probably not, because it's kids and that's weird, but this is the last time you're gonna see Phil on this channel this calendar year, and you won't see him until I get around to making the best and worst songs of 2021 videos come like February or whenever those will come out. But I hope you're ready for this one. Brand new venue, young couple, Latin music, a little EDM. Let's go. Downside of a new venue means that the aerial photograph on Google Maps took place when they were building it, so it doesn't really tell that much of a story. However, I can tell you that there's doors all along the front edge facing the road, so load-in is very easy. Now, our main setup for reception is where this orange star is. It's right next to the bathrooms and the main entrance, and then the entire left half of the building you see here is the reception hall where all the tables are going to be, and they have the ceremony out back. We're set up along the edge of the building where this triangle is, and they installed an automated stream that babbles water down during the ceremony, which you'll see in greater detail during the event proper. So here I have a still image of the reception setup, and I only have a still image because, as you'll see, it's tight. I'm against the back wall in that photograph, and there just wasn't a lot of room to move around. Staff was moving back and forth. Guests were using the bathroom, so I didn't really have an opportunity to film the reception area. But you've seen most of this before. In front, we have my EV ELX 200 subwoofer. I put some flowers from the venue on top of it to prevent people from standing on it. There were a lot of kids at this wedding, so that was kind of necessary. We have my Dragon front boards facade in the Ritmo pattern, the two UB12 hex bars lighting that from behind. We have on top of those speaker stands with the white scrim on there, we have my QSE K10.2 tops, the FocusSpot 3Z moving heads on top of my pre-wired truss with the 5P hex lights inside them. We have the Element hex pars in front of the totems, and we have some more Element hex underneath the speaker scrim. Those are the STs underneath. And we have all the stuff, the internals behind it. We have the Shure SLXD microphone with the orange topper right there, the Samsung Odyssey Z notebook running Virtual DJ 2020, same headphones, all that other stuff. See any of the other gig logs if you want to see what's going on behind the booth. Unfortunately, I don't have a photo showing a lot of the uplighting in the room. We used a combination of the Element hex pars, the Element ST hex pars, and we also ended up using the 6 Ape Labs Maxis throughout the room. I wanted to use those. The Maxis are scattered throughout the dancing area. You'll see that in greater detail in the video itself, just to change it up a little bit from what the rest of the lights were doing. But I do have video of the ceremony setup. So through these doors right here, you have the reception hall on the other side. They have all these chairs set up. It ended up not being enough. Here's the arbor that they have. See this rock set up back here? They have water coming down behind that during the ceremony. I decided to put red toppers on the microphones just to make it look like roses because the black looked just terrible. It was the best option for what they had right here because it was so stark behind it. But those are the good old Shure ULXD microphones, and I couldn't really mount them on top because the arbor had that bend to it. Something was going to be seen of that boom, and I didn't like that. And everyone thought that was the best option. Back behind the audience, we have the Bose S1 Pro speaker, just one for the ceremony. You know, scrim, speaker stand. The ceremony rig with all the bad wiring. We're still cleaning this up a little bit, but you've seen that rig before. The Manfrotto tripod with the Panasonic 4K HD camcorder. We have the Yamaha 10-channel mixer, the microphone rack. There is my Yeti 1000 receiver, my battery, Chromebook. Only one thing left to do. You know what time it is? It's time to level up. Let's go.
Now that all the legal boxes have been checked, it's time for me to do my part. By the power vested in me by the state of New York and the Universal Life Church, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great honor to present to you Mr. and Mrs. Montero.
Your wedding party. First up, make some noise for bridesmaid Haneri Castillo, escorted by groomsman Ryan Montero. Bridesmaid Jane Falsey, escorted by groomsman Alejandro Sanchez. So give it up for the matron of honor, Elena Miller, and the best man, Justice McGrath Quichocho. Your newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Ramil and Alexis Montero. And make some noise for your newlyweds, everyone. Who's better at keeping a secret? Well, see, maybe they just don't tell each other anything.
That's how you survive.
That's the secret. They've unlocked this. We are Torgo Entertainment. Take care of yourselves and have a good night. Thank you. And we're back, still 2 weeks afterwards. That went fairly well. We ended up cutting at about 8:15, which was a mutual agreement, not just because the venue wanted us to end early, but because most people had left. It got cold. It was like 25 degrees by the time that was all over. Okay, first and foremost, the big elephant in the room. Well, maybe it wasn't that big of an elephant, it just looked so compared to the room. That room was not big enough for that many people. Apparently, they planned on 140 people coming to this wedding because that's how many RSVP'd, and like 210 actually showed up, which made the venue have to scramble, get tables in there. Not everybody even had a seat for dinner. And I didn't show this on camera, but for the ceremony where I was, yeah, back behind the camera, there's easily 50 people just standing off to the side watching this ceremony happen. If you're watching this and you're going to go to a wedding, please RSVP for this couple. They need to know for food. They need to know for seating. There are so many different things, and plus it's just rude not to. Second, the first dance was a little bit awkward because of where they stood. I had the spotlight position directly in front of the DJ booth, which was in a really tight position. That venue is not used to having large DJ setups compared to what I have. They were like, oh yeah, here's a table, it's like a 5-foot cart, and that usually suffices for what they have there. They never had uplighting there or the huge totems or anything like that. But I had set the spotlight directly in front of me, and then it came time for the first dance, and the people in the crowd were complaining, we can't see you! Do it there? Well, it works for me. So they moved over to be more visible to the crowd, which is fine, but it made that spotlight aiming I did completely pointless. Then, the couple wanted to do the father-daughter and the mother-son dance right after the first dance. Fine, that's not how I usually do it, but it's not up to me, it's their day. Perfectly fine. Father-daughter dance happens, great. Time for the mother-son. The mother of the groom had left the wedding.
His mother's not here.
Oh. His mother's not here right now.
So, I don't know if I should dance with Ramil or what we should do.
We can always do it later.
You can pause
We
it.
can do it later.
Do it later.
You want to dance with it later?
You got a favorite hand? It's up to you guys. Your day.
We'll just do it later. We'll do it later.
We're gonna do it later.
Delayed game, 15 yards.
5 yards. That's football.
She went back to the hotel for whatever reason. I'm still not entirely sure why. So we had to put that off until later. But these things happen, you gotta roll with the punches. So we decided to do the toasts right after the father-daughter. I said we would get to the mother-son dance later on. And we did end up taking care of that right after dinner. Dinner was fun because it was such tight quarters that the dinner line was really navigating tightly between tables. And when you have 200 plus people in a room not meant for 200 people, yeah, I'm surprised they had as much food as they did, and they did account for that, but people waiting in line were not having it. So it is what it is. I had to call the tables one by one. And again, the last numbered table, you know, they're gonna hate me because I called them last, but that's how the venue wanted. They're like, call the tables in numeric order. Fine, but they'll get over it. If they wanted to eat earlier, maybe they should have RSVP'd. Then it came time for dancing. The shoe game went great. We got the mother-son dancing. Garter bouquet was great. Cake cutting was fine. They were really feeding off a lot of the bachata I was playing. The bachata isn't exactly like rager music, so you had the people that knew how to dance to it were dancing along. It doesn't look great on camera because a lot of people were positioned in front of the camera. Where we ended up setting it up was right next to a photo op that they had. They had a bench and, you know, some shrubbery there. So a lot of the footage I wanted to have for this wedding wasn't very usable because people were standing in the way, but they were having a great time. Things are moving along just fine, and then the wedding came to a screeching halt right around 7:15 because of an infestation that permeated the building. Children. I joke about this with Phil all the time. Kids ruin weddings! If they're on the dance floor, it's cute, it's adorable. Adults aren't gonna wanna get on the dance floor because they're pulling out their phones to put on Facebook, oh look, little Timmy is 4 and he's doing the Fortnite dance. Isn't that adorbs? Hashtag boss babe. So that kind of killed all momentum that we had, and a lot of people up and left, which is why we ended up ending the night at 8:15. But the couple had a great time. They were very thankful. The mother of the bride who hired me had a great time. The venue was extremely impressed with what I had to offer. But a playlist will be at the tail end of this video per usual. Thank you so much for tuning in. Torgo with Torgo Entertainment here. One more wedding in November. I believe I do have a gig log coming for a December event that I just booked today. It's a holiday party. We'll see how that goes, but I'll see you in about 2 weeks or so at the next gig. We're almost done with 2021, and spoiler alert, 2022 is gonna be even bigger. Take care.